In this video, I'm going to introduce you to Cloudx Console. Cloudx Console is a web-based GUI interface built into Cloudx Gateway. You can use Cloudx Console for setting up containers or launch instances. Logging with username admin and password. Cloudx Console is organized by functions. Wizards is a step-by-step instructions that takes you from setting up Cloudx as a first-time user to create containers to launch instances. At the top homepage is a dashboard that shows all the VPC containers that you have created. In this case, we have 4 containers created in different regions, and this is the status in terms of the gateway instance. And these are the Cloudx Elastic IP address. And these 4 VPC containers are created by different AWS accounts. You can use Setup Wizard if you're a first-time user to set up Cloud Extender, such as its customer ID, the Elastic address pool, IP address pool, and account. And then after you set up Wizard, you can use Container Wizard to create VPC containers. Once VPC containers are created, you can use Instance Wizard to launch instances. We provide 3 ways to launch instances. Container tabs contains all the functions of the container actions. Again, Wizards is a shortcut, and in some cases, it's a more simplified or restricted way of launching instances. Whereas these functional tabs, such as container, contains all the functions or features that is related to container. You can use this to create containers, and containers also has a property that allow VPN access. This tab tells you how to set up VPN, how to add users to the VPN. And you can also take a snapshot of a container. Say you create a VPC container and you launch instances in, and you want to take a snapshot that creates a template file and that is stores in S3 bucket. And later you can replicate that container. You just need to give a bucket name and a file name where you store the JSON file, and you can replicate, which will replicate not only the container but also all the instances and security policies that you have created. And you can also stop a container. What this means is it will stop the gateway instance in AWS. This is useful when you want to save cost, you want to reduce your expense, you don't want it to be running empty. And you can always restart it of a particular VPC. You can put down the VPC to restart any particular VPC container. And you can also use this to delete a container when you're done. Next, let's move to Instance tab. Instance tab is where all the instance associated functions are stored here. You can create a profile. The profile is basically a template that allows you to describe the attributes of the instances, such as the image name and the instance type, and whether or not you want to use Elastic IP to associate to this instance, or you want to use a port mapped Elastic port to access this instance. And also you can specify, is this a private, is this instance going to be launched in a private subnet or public subnet? And you can delete the profile. This is you create a profile, you can delete, you can list the profile. Next is launching. You can, once you create a profile, you can use this panel to launch your instance. And the Access tab describes the accessing method to the instances that either launched through AWS Console or Instance Profile or CloudFormation. I'm sorry, it set up for the instances that it's already running, either through different methods. And the delete is to delete that binding, that access method. And you can list to see what are the accessing assignments for the particular VPC container. Now the list shows all the instances, that user instances that you have created in this VPC container. And we also have some tools or for ease of use to show you the key pairs. And you use terminate function to terminate the instance that you launched from Cloudx. And the security group displays the security groups that you have created in that VPC container. In the CloudFormation tab, it allows you to create a stack profile, which is basically, again, another way of describing an instance using your own CloudFormation script stored in an S3 bucket. This is a profile actions. Once you have profile, you can come here, create a stack using the profiles you created. Profile is another term for saying template. And you can create stack, delete, or list the stack. Under Administrations tab, we have Accounts, where you can set up account or delete accounts. Cloud Extender supports multiple accounts. And under License, this is where each customer is giving a customer ID, which we use this to verify your license and grant you license or deny you license. You can always use View to see your current licensing situation. Under AMI image, this is a tool we provide for you to add AMI image into image library stored in Cloud Extender. It's a convenient way so that when you create instance profile, you can easily from a drop-down menu to select the image name for your instance. And the permission is another tool where in some enterprise cases, they have images, they have new AMI images, which is a private image that needs to be granted permission to launch the instance. So you can use Cloudx to add permission to a specific image from a specific owner. Under Virtual Appliance, we let you configure the IP address of Cloud Extender. And you can do upgrade from this panel. When we have a new software, the upgrade and rollback is the way to get the latest release from Carmelo systems. And we have a reboot and reset function. Under Elastic Pool, is where you set up, reserve a pool of host IP addresses for Cloud Extender to use. You can only change this range. You can always change this range, but you can only change range when you have no VPC containers, because you have to clean up the VPC containers before you can change the range. So be careful when you set it up. And you can change your password. And this is an email setup where where you in Cloudx we send out email notifications for certain activities, such as when a container is created or instance association or assignments are created. By default, the email will be sent out by Carmelo system info, but you can always change it into your own organization's email notification. And then the last, under troubleshooting, we provide diagnostic. You can ping, you can provide the diagnostic. Let you upload command logs that to Carmelo system for debugging and troubleshooting purpose. So the last tab is advanced features. Advanced feature is where we support features that is outside the normal VPC container and instances. In the legacy VPC, we support a mode where Cloudx functions as a layer 3 router gateway that lets you connect directly to an existing VPC. For example, if you have an existing VPC that is connected to your data center over a layer 3 VPN, then you have a remote data center that currently is, you like this remote data center to also access the VPC that you have created. Now, if you deploy a cloud extender in the remote data center, then the remote data center users can access your existing VPC directly without taking the traffic back to your data center and then to the VPC. So that's this feature. Direct Connect is a feature where Cloud Extender can create a VPC concentrator for Cloudx instances in VPCs access your local resources directly over AWS Direct Connect. And by default, when you create VPCs, Cloud Extender automatically creates a full mesh secure channels of all the VPCs you created from a Cloud Extender. But you can always add policies to stop certain VPCs from talking to each other. By specifying two VPC containers, you can say these two VPCs cannot send packets to each other. So you have additional policy and security measure. That's the introduction of Cloud Extender Console.